What's up, guys? That was a great fight, right? That was a great fight. Huh? That was a good fight. Defense, defense. It's boxing, baby. Look, man, I told him ahead of time. You fought Khan. He could box. You fought Matisse. He could punch. But you never fought somebody that can box and punch at the same time. You know? Now, people forget that boxing is a sport. And sports are scored on a point system, right? Now, fight fans love to see a tremendous fight. And sometimes when you come to a boxing match, you do get that. You get what you want. You get what you desire. But sometimes you see boxing. Boxing is an art. I finessed my way to victory. I told you that my defense and my accurate punching is what made me victorious. It was a small margin, but it still made me victorious over Sean Porter, okay? Danny, we believe that we took a big lead. We hit him with big punches early on, and he had this awkward movement about him. He had this awkward way he wanted to counter me. I was aware of his counters. I told you guys that he throws wide. I wanted to throw wide too. I wanted to show him, like, you know, you swing, I swing. Batter up, right? I've been giving y'all baseball references this whole week. Batters up. He swung, but he ain't hit no home run. I swung. I didn't hit no home run. But overall, I landed more punches. There were a few rounds where his aggressiveness and the lack of my output may have won him some rounds. But in the same essence, I could use that same boxing style, up my work rate, and there are rounds where for every one punch, I was landing 2 to 3 punches in return. And I knew I was winning those rounds. You know, he didn't like my movement, and I understood that. And I told you guys once again that I'm going to treat him like a computer. You know, we're going to copy and paste whatever's working. Whatever's working, we're going to copy and paste. You know, he didn't like the different angles. He didn't like the elevation of the head. He constantly was trying to go to the body, constantly going to the body because he couldn't hit me to the head. Then when he swung at the head, I ducked. I made him miss. You know, I used my jab a lot. His eyes were very good. I was actually impressed with the way he was able to read. You know, I mixed up, changing the jab into a hook, and it was effective sometimes. But due to his lean back and his understanding of distance, sometimes I was missing that well, you know. I mean, I told you guys, I do this shit for fun, baby. This is my day job. This is my job. This is my dreams. This is what I'm here for. I'm here for the challenge. And Danny Garcia did challenge me today, but I passed. I passed. He did not pass the Keith Thurman test. Sean Porter did not pass the Keith Thurman test. We are 28 years old, 20 wins, 22 by way of knockout. I mean, I love the world of boxing. This is what I've loved ever since I was a kid. And it was an honor and a blessing to be a part of boxing history today and to have a tremendous world champion like Danny Garcia as my opponent. You guys, you know, y'all should start to see, man. I'm humble, man. I truly love the sport. I love everything that comes with it. He's strong, you know. I mean, he hit me in the arm in one of those left hooks that he missed. And, I mean, my arm hurts right now. I mean, it felt like a brick was coming at me, you know. So he's strong, and I constantly said that, you know, what could be his weakness is his flat-footedness. What could be his strength is his flat-footedness. His flat-footedness allowed me to dance around him. It allowed me to move. But it's the fact that he's flat-footed, when he wants to commit to punching, when he wants to commit to swinging, he has weight behind it. And I felt the weight of Danny's punches today. I kept my defense. I got out the way with the majority of practically all of them, you know, and it wasn't that effective, but his power was there. He was eager. He would start throwing, you know, 2 hooks together, 3 hooks together, awkward uppercuts and hooks, but they were swinging and not being that effective.
Wait, hold on.
Can he be changed, or is that how he fights? Adrian Broner calls it the no-look left hook. Can a trainer come and change that about him? Because obviously he was exposed tonight, I guess.
I think he has changed a little bit, you know. When I was backing him down, he was hopping. He was doing a little bit of the side to side, pull back, smother me, hold me. He had technique, man. He had technique, but I had superior technique, and I was able to read his technique, you know. But ultimately, it comes down to who lands the most punches, who's the most accurate, you know. I knew there were times where my hands were up, right? He's throwing a 1-2, and I have to think to myself, that didn't hit me, but it looks good for the judges. It didn't hit me, but it looks good to the crowd, you know? Am I winning this round? Because he did that? Am I winning this round? I don't know. You got to take that in consideration, Keith. You haven't gotten a knockdown yet. You haven't got a real ultimate spread that puts all eyes on you and on your damage, you know. I was check hooking him, you know. I was landing straight right hands to the body. I was landing short uppercuts here and there. I was landing more of the combinations when combinations were thrown. I mean, it was a nice night of boxing, in my opinion.
Hey, Keith. Straight back. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
My question is, when you apparently took your foot off the gas a little bit the last couple of rounds and saw some of the comments that Dan made in the ring that he was okay with that also, the way that boxing matches are scored oftentimes, that has many times in the past cost fighters victories where they may be ahead and they ease up and it costs them in the end. Did that at all enter the thought process of yourself or you, Dan? And why? Because you know how risky it can be to do that in these kinds of fights. You guys got away with it, I guess, tonight. But, you know, it seemed like it might have been able to possibly cost you at some point.
I mean, it cost a few rounds, probably. I mean, it's probably why the one judge made it a split, right? I mean, we didn't win unanimous. This is probably the first 12-round fight of my professional career where it wasn't a unanimous decision, right? So, you know, you're correct in that sense. But as I was doing it, as I was pulling back, how many times did I make a miss? You know, I was saying, if you're going to do this, he cannot touch you. The more he does not touch you, the less credit he gets, no matter if he's more aggressive, because you have to assess scoring blows. I got here late. I didn't hear everything that Team Garcia had to say, but he mentioned the Laura fight, right? And Laura was very defensive, and Canelo was very active, and it's not like Canelo's activity was highly superior, but like I said, man, when a fighter has his hands up and he's blocking, but the other fighter does throw a 1-2, and it kind of pushes him to the left, throws him off to the right or whatever, it does have an effect on the judges, you know. So if he did that, you know, I try to at least think to myself, you got to get a little bit back in this round. You got to get a little bit back in this round. You got to push at a few moments of this round. There were times where my movement, Danny didn't like the movement, right? He stepped back into the middle of the ring. What did Keith one-time Thurman do? Step right up. Step right up. I wasn't sitting in the back like, nah, man, come chase me. Nah. As soon as he took off the gas, I got right in his face because I just wanted to be awkward for him, you know? I mean, we did what we had to do to win tonight, and we try to do that each and every time we fight.
All right, well, now that you have this victory, it's a great weight class. You have 2 titles now in this weight class. Fights will come to you, but in your mind, I know you want to fight the best guys, but who do you want to fight in your next fight?
To be honest, you know, I'm not sure. You know, his father said no rematch. Danny might want a rematch. Fans might want a rematch. Who knows, man? There's a lot out there, but real talk, real negotiations, I have no clue, man. I want to keep giving you guys some great fights, right? I mean, I produced 2 back-to-back. Those who really are in the sport of boxing knows that there was an opportunity for me to take a mandatory that we we did not have to really address at the end of the day, you know. And another reason why was because that's not the fight that I wanted. I can't say what I want right now because I got what I want. So right now I'm going to sit back, reflect, and I will be stepping back in the ring sometime later on this year. I'm not going to do the whole one fight performance. We didn't have it's unnecessary, but we're gonna have to see what manifests. There might be some form of a rematch fight. There might be some form of a stay busy fight, and then there might be a great fight in the near future because the welterweight division is a great division, and you know the motto stays the same. I got to owe. I'm not afraid to let it go. If you can beat me, beat me.
Brooke is going to fight Errol Spence. Would that be a fight that interests you? The winner of that, and then the next fight, they would fight you.
You know, of course, that's a great fight, and fighting the winner is important. But when will it manifest? I don't know. How eager of the manifestation? I don't know. Do I want to see 3 world titles strapped around me? Of course I do. Do I want to see 3 world titles strapped around any one of the welterweights in the welterweight division? Yes, I do. Why? Because Keith one-time Thurman is not just a boxer, but a boxing fan. And the world of boxing deserves history. We live a life to make history. Countries, nations. I mean, Trump is president, people. Come on. History, okay? History. Barack got in office, 2 terms. History, all right? So it's been a long time since we've seen an undisputed champion in the welterweight division, right? It will manifest. I just can't promise you guys a win right here, right now on this podium today.
Keith, congratulations, and we appreciate the historic perspective also. Looking back at the round 1 and 2, they were so different. You know, round 1 you seemed to jump on him, and you were offensive and seemed to hurt him quite bad, what it looked like. And round 2, you took a totally different approach by moving back. Can you just talk us through what happened and what was going through your mind between those two? That switch?
Testing the waters, man. You know, I mean, it's my job. It's my job, you know. I mean, and when I show up, I'm the boss. Nobody gets to tell the boss, you know, exactly what to do. Luckily, I got a great advisor, Dan Birmingham, right? But it's my fight, baby. It's my fight, you know. And eventually, I wanted to show him. You know, I wanted to do what Ben Getty always told me to do when we fought in the amateurs. You know, reflecting on this fight, I told myself, this is a national tournament. You and Danny used to compete all the time in, you know, 1 weight class away from each other. You never got to be in the ring with him. He was a national champion. You were a national champion. He was a world champion. You're a world champion. I mean, this is, you know, this is boxing. And this is world-class American fighters going toe-to-toe. And, you know, not only did I want to show him the power right away. That's what Ben used to say. Go out there and show them your power, boy. That way they know what they're dealing with. That way we get to test their heart. We get to see how eager they are to step up to the challenge of facing one-time Keith Thurman. You know, outside of that, you know, Dan Birmingham, St. Pete Boxing, legendary Winky Wright. Winky was at the fight. He comes out, he shows me a lot of love. Every single time, even if he's not at the fight, he'll send me a message. And it's one simple line he says all the time. Do you and have fun. We had fun tonight. That's what it was all about.
Keith, now we noticed, it was a chess match much of the fight, but it seemed like in the last minute sometimes Danny would try to, do like a Sugar Ray Leonard and steal the round with a little flurry, to which you responded coming right back. Is that something you did specifically for this fight, or is that just your mentality as a fighter? If a guy hits you 2-3 times, you got to get him back or more.
I mean, it's competitive. I don't know exactly what the judges are thinking. And, of course, I don't want him to be able to steal the round. If he's trying to steal the round, I want to steal the round. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a fight, And I wanted to see, how much energy he had, what his strength and conditioning was like. And, he was ready. Sean Porter was ready. And Keith Thurman showed up tonight, ready.
I have a question.
I don't care. Who cares?
I have a question for Dan. A question for Dan Birmingham. Dan, how would you assess Keith's performance tonight?
I give him an A+. I give him an A+.
All right, this is the last one.
Last question.
Keith, how hurt did you think he was in the first round, and did you think you were going to be able to stop him?
I thought we definitely opened up his eyes really quick. I felt like there was an ability, but the extra punches weren't being landed. He was doing a lot of pulling back. He was taking a little bit off of some things, but I startled him. I came out a little aggressive, maybe more aggressive. It's easy to shock a fighter off bat because they don't understand your speed. They don't understand your power. They don't understand how to time you just yet. And I think that's how I was able to get Danny Garcia in the first round.
That's it, bro.
All right,
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.